Somebody is wrong. It is either the professional reviewers, the experts, the trainers, the testing agencies, and the military evaluators. Or it is the people sitting in the comment sections, confidently calling these firearms overrated. The reality is simple. Both groups cannot be right. Welcome back to iReview. On this channel, we do not evaluate gear based on internet momentum, legacy bias, or manufacturer marketing. We look at the verifiable, mechanical truth. Today, we are taking a hard, objective look at 5 firearms that have collected 5-star reviews from nearly everyone who has put them through serious, rigorous testing. We are going to address the common forum myths, from claims of honeymoon scores to budget tier grading, and cross-examine them with documented performance records. Let's find out if these top-tier ratings are actually built on hype, or if they are earned through engineering and absolute reliability. And make sure you stick around for the end, because the firearm sitting at our number 1 spot has so much empirical evidence behind it that dismissing it as mere hype starts sounding less like healthy skepticism and a lot more like sheer denial. Let's get into it. Bergara B-14 HMR review, shattering the budget tier myth. When discussing the Bergara B-14 HMR, the forum arguments against it often sound quite reasonable on the surface. Skeptics claim that the rifle only receives 5-star ratings because critics are grading it against its price, rather than holding it to an absolute precision standard. In that particular view, the B-14 HMR is often dismissed as a budget tier 5 stars, or simply a good-for-the-money rifle. However, when you look past the internet chatter, the documented accuracy data completely breaks that framing. From a purely mechanical standpoint, the B-14 HMR is engineered for serious precision. It utilizes Bergara's No. 6 contour barrel, which is commonly seen in a 24-inch configuration, and it chambers inherently precise cartridges like the 6.5 Creedmoor. Equipped with the proprietary HMR stock, the rifle comes in at a substantial weight of about 11.8 pounds. That stock is arguably the key detail of the entire platform. The synthetic design features an integrated mini chassis alongside an aluminum bedding block, which are absolutely not just budget decorations. These internal components work together to create exceptional barrel-to-action stability, allowing the rifle to consistently produce the high accuracy that critics keep documenting. Independent testing from respected outlets like Outdoor Life and American Rifleman has documented group performances that confidently put the B-14 HMR into a territory where far more expensive rifles do not always stay consistent. Subjectively, handling and shooting the B-14 HMR does not feel like a compromise. While it is true that the relatively accessible cost makes the rifle impressive, the price tag is not the actual reason it earns its top-tier ratings. In serious, professional evaluations, achieving a sub-MOA accuracy standard is treated as a real mechanical result, not just a for-the-price compliment. Personally, I believe the B-14 HMR is one of the most vital platforms on the market today because it definitively proves that high value and absolute precision can seamlessly exist in the same rifle. The critical consensus and 5-star ratings come directly from its undeniable accuracy, bedding stability, superior barrel quality, and repeatable performance under pressure. Critics aren't handing this rifle a consolation prize. They are actively documenting a genuine precision platform that rightfully earns its score on the target. To understand the forum arguments, you have to look at the market context. Currently, the Bergara B-14 HMR generally retails with an MSRP hovering around $1,100 to $1,200, depending on the specific caliber, like 6.5 Creedmoor or 308 Win, and the retailer, with some standard models occasionally dipping closer to $1,000. Because purpose-built precision and match rifles can easily cost upwards of $2,500 to $4,000, it is easy to see why the internet tries to box the B-14 HMR into the budget category. However, as the engineering specs and range data prove, you are paying a mid-tier price for top-tier verifiable mechanical performance. Beretta 1301 Tactical Review. Speed that defies the skeptics. The skepticism surrounding the Beretta 1301 Tactical is highly specific. A common argument found on internet forums is that the shotgun only earns 5-star ratings because shotgun critics tend to inflate shotgun scores. In that view, if the 1301 were judged by broader, absolute independent standards, its rating would inevitably fall. While that argument might sound reasonable at first glance, the actual mechanical data, specifically the cycle rate, shatters that narrative entirely. At the heart of the Beretta 1301 Tactical's reputation is the blink gas system. The defining performance claim of this system is not a matter of subjective feeling, it is purely measurable. It delivers an extremely fast semi-automatic cycle rate that is often cited at around 36 milliseconds per cycle. That number is not just niche enthusiasm, it is a verifiable mechanical speed figure that independent critics can test, record, and compare against any standard. The rest of the platform is meticulously engineered to support that exact purpose. The specifications speak for themselves. It utilizes an 18.5-inch barrel. It maintains an operating weight of about 6-7 pounds. It chambers 3-inch 12-gauge shells, and it feeds reliably from a standard 5-round tube magazine. Furthermore, the enlarged charging handle, oversized controls, and speed-focused loading port are not merely cosmetic upgrades. They are deliberate ergonomic choices built directly around the necessity of fast operation under intense pressure. When handling the 1301 Tactical, it becomes immediately apparent why the niche inflation argument weakens in the real world. This shotgun is not praised simply because reviewers are generous or biased toward the category. It is praised because its operating system, handling speed, reload-friendly layout, and undeniable reliability give critics tangible, specific performance evidence to evaluate. Personally, I believe the Beretta 1301 Tactical is one of the most effective defensive tools available today. Both independent firearms evaluators and dedicated shotgun specialists consistently arrive at the exact same conclusion for the exact same reason. The 1301 is fast, controllable, and aggressively purpose-built. Its 5-star reputation is absolutely not the result of category favoritism. Rather, it represents documented performance in a rigorous category where speed and reliability are the ultimate deciding factors. In terms of market value as of 2026, the Beretta 1301 Tactical sits firmly in the premium defensive shotgun category. Depending on the specific configuration, such as the newer Mod 2 variants, tactical pistol grips, or upgraded stock options, you can expect the retail price to generally range from $1,600 to over $1,900. Base models and sales can occasionally be found in the $1,400 to $1,500 range, while highly specialized setups, like the chisel stock configurations, easily push past $2,200. While it is undoubtedly a significant investment, you are paying for an elite, competition and duty-ready gas mechanism that dominates its class in cycle speed and dependability. Benelli M4 Review, the blueprint of unyielding reliability. The strongest argument against the Benelli M4 often sounds quite authoritative. The common forum claim is that its 5-star reputation was merely lifted by military adoption, asserting that a military contract is simply procurement rather than independent proof of performance. In that skeptical view, the critical consensus simply followed the contract. However, when you look at the documented evaluation record, that argument becomes incredibly difficult to hold. Historically, the M4 was adopted by the U.S. Marine Corps in 1999 as the M1014 Joint Service Combat Shotgun. Its core specifications are very clear. An 18.5-inch chrome-lined barrel, a 3-inch 12-gauge chambering, a 7-round tube capacity, and an operating weight of around 84 pounds with the collapsible stock extended. But the real, mechanical reason for its legendary reputation is the Argo system, Benelli's auto-regulating gas-operated action. This short-stroke piston design utilizes dual stainless steel pistons positioned near the chamber. This specific placement and design allow the system to run much cleaner and far more consistently than many traditional gas setups. When you actually put the M4 through heavy use, you realize the fundamental flaw in the procurement myth. The military contract did not create the shotgun's performance. It merely confirmed what the mechanism was already explicitly built to do. That Argo design gives the M4 its documented, uncompromising reliability under sustained fire and adverse conditions. Personally, handling the M4 gives a profound sense of confidence. Independent evaluators and professional shooters consistently reach the exact same conclusion for the exact same reason. The Argo system gives the shotgun a reliability profile that is measurable, repeatable, and central to its 5-star rating. The Benelli M4 is absolutely not a case of critics borrowing credibility from a military contract. It is a definitive case where military testing and independent evaluation point to the exact same mechanical truth. The reputation follows the performance, not the other way around. As of 2026, the Benelli M4 remains an apex platform, and its pricing reflects that premium status. Depending on the specific configuration, such as the standard pistol grip, multi-position telescoping stock, or upgraded finishes like the H2O titanium, the MSRP typically ranges from $22.99 to $25.99. Standard street prices for brand new models usually hover between $1,800 and $2,300, while well-maintained used models can occasionally be found in the $1,000 to $1,600 range. While it is undeniably an expensive shotgun, you are not paying for hype. You are investing in a combat-proven, meticulously machined operating system that guarantees absolute functionality when it matters most. Sig Sauer P365 Review: Disruption that survives the long term. The myth surrounding the Sig Sauer P365 is a narrative typically reserved for disruptive products. Skeptics and forum critics often argue that the handgun only earned its 5-star reputation because it changed the category, asserting that initial launch momentum does not survive long-term evaluation. In that cynical view, the high ratings merely document what the P365 started, rather than what it consistently delivers over time. However, a deep dive into its sustained test record challenges that assumption directly. When you look closely at the mechanical specifications, the P365 presents an incredibly efficient design. It chambers the 9mm Parabellum cartridge, utilizes a compact 3/1-inch barrel, and weighs just about 17.8 ounces when unloaded. Its most defining feature is that it miraculously fits 10 rounds into a flush magazine, all housed inside a pistol that is just over 1 inch wide. When Sig Sauer first introduced the platform back in 2018, that unprecedented size-to-capacity balance completely changed the micro-compact market. The firearm runs on a striker-fired action, and its trigger, sights, and proprietary magazine design are engineered to work together as a complete package, rather than just acting as a gimmick built solely around high capacity. Critics and professional evaluators did not rate the P365 highly simply because the numbers on the spec sheet were impressive. In the hands of a shooter, the P365 proves that it can deliver those numbers without giving up essential reliability or shootability. Ultimately, a small 9mm with strong capacity is only impressive if it still runs reliably, controls recoil well, and remains practical under real-world use. Personally, I believe the P365 is a masterclass in functional design. Independent evaluators consistently return to the exact same point. The P365 is far more than just a successful launch story pistol. It is the definitive platform that proved industry disruption can survive the grueling long-term test cycle. Its 5-star reputation did not hold merely because it changed the market. It held because the pistol kept performing at a top-tier level long after the rest of the market had already reacted. In the 2026 market, the standard Sig Sauer P365 maintains an incredibly competitive and accessible price point. A new standard base model typically retails anywhere from $499 to $579. Because of the modularity of the fire control unit, SIG has aggressively expanded the line, meaning prices scale depending on features. Optic-ready or compensated variants like the X Macro and Fuse usually hover between $700 and $850, while premium all-metal configurations like the AXG Legion command $1,200 to $1,300. Whether you buy the base model or the flagship, you are investing in a proven, verified performance record that continues to define the everyday carry standard. Glock 19 Gen 5 Review: Earning the crown, not inheriting it. The myth surrounding the Glock 19 Gen 5 represents the final form of forum skepticism. The common internet claim is simple: the Glock 19 is so completely dominant in law enforcement, civilian carry, and manufacturer comparisons that critics no longer actively evaluate it. they merely assume its greatness. In that skeptical view, the rating is the dominance, and the dominance is the rating, implying that its 5-star reputation is simply an unearned inheritance from the Gen 4. However, the documented evaluation record of the Gen 5 answers that exact myth with hard, undeniable specifics. Mechanically, the Gen 5 is far from a carbon copy of its predecessors. It reliably chambers the 9mm parabellum, carries a standard 15 rounds, and weighs in at about 23.97 ounces when fully loaded. The core of its 5-star rating lies in its generation-specific changes, modifications that critics have evaluated directly rather than taking on faith. The Gen 5 introduces a 402-inch Glock marksman barrel, deliberately engineered to enhance mechanical accuracy. Beyond the barrel, the platform integrates a flared magwell for faster and more consistent reloads, an ambidextrous slide stop for better ergonomic flexibility, and the highly requested removal of the finger grooves to fit a wider variety of hands. Coupled with a highly durable NDLC finish and a consistent striker-fired trigger, these are tangible engineering upgrades that produce measurable results. When handling and running the Gen 5, it becomes glaringly obvious why the assumed dominance argument completely falls apart. Independent evaluators did not praise this iteration simply because the Glock brand name is popular. They praised it because the accuracy, durability, trigger consistency, corrosion resistance, and uncompromising duty-ready reliability kept perfectly matching the standard. Personally, I view the Glock 19 Gen 5 as the gold standard of pragmatic, no-nonsense firearm design. It does not rely on flashy cosmetics or marketing momentum. It relies on a proven mechanism that has been iteratively perfected over decades. The Glock 19 Gen 5 absolutely did not inherit its 5 stars from simple market dominance. It rightfully earned them by definitively proving exactly why that dominance exists in the first place. As we navigate the 2026 market, the Glock 19 Gen 5 remains one of the most accessible and competitively priced duty-grade handguns available. A standard brand-new Gen 5 model typically retails anywhere from $539 to $600, depending on the specific retailer and local availability. If you are opting for the highly requested MOS variant to easily mount modern red dot sights, you can expect the price to generally hover between $620 and $720. While there are certainly cheaper polymer striker-fired pistols available today, the Gen 5's price tag buys you an unmatched ecosystem of aftermarket support, unquestionable out-of-the-box reliability, and a verified performance record that continues to serve as the ultimate benchmark for the entire industry. Here at iReview, we believe in prioritizing mechanical data over internet discussion. You have heard the forum version of this conversation, and you know exactly what it sounds like. But now you are armed with 5 specific, verified, and independently documented performance records to objectively weigh against those claims. So here is the question worth putting in the comments today. Of the 5 platforms on this list, which one do you think the forum conversation most consistently misrepresents when it questions the critical rating? And more importantly, what is the specific, verified performance quality you would use to defend it? We want the argument. The engineering evidence we presented today is specific enough to engage with directly. Thank you for trusting iReview for your definitive gear analysis. Be sure to subscribe and drop a like for our next mechanical breakdown. Stay sharp, trust the data, and we'll see you in the next one.